Hi everybody, I'm Mariangela Matarazzo, the director of VRE Festival. Is a virtual reality experience festival that started yesterday. Now we are the second day, and we continue to talk about our speakers about the most relevant field and the most important issues in the XR community and in the XR world. I'm so pleased to have today Jingshu, that is I'm so sorry for the pronunciation, that is the co-founder of VeeR, that is the platform that hosts our selection. Thank you so much, Jingshu, for being with us, and thank you for for the second edition our selection. Is very, very important for us because it gives us the opportunity to be available on different countries overall the world. So this is thanks to VeeR and thanks to Jingshu that host our selection. Thank you. I pass you the floor, and thanks again for being with us. Thank you, Jingshu. Bye.
Thank you. Thanks for having me here. And it's also our pleasure to partner with VRE. And hello, everyone. I'm Jingshu. I'm co-founder of VeeR. We are a VR content platform that's dedicated to producing and distributing cinematic VR content. I'm very glad to be here to share our insights about cinematic VR content distribution and monetization. And before I dive into the details, first I'd like to give a quick intro about what VeeR is doing. We are a platform founded in 2016, and we have been in this industry for 5 years. And we are dedicated to the mission to producing and distributing premium VR experience to massive audience. And now we have a very large cinematic VR content library, including both 3DOF and 6DOF content. Some of you might know us before. We started as a 3DOF VR video platform, and since last year, we started to expand into 6DOF content as well. And on the distribution side, we have 2 self-owned distribution channels. The first is our online VR video platform VeeR, which is available on most of the VR headsets. Since 2019, we started to build this LBE VR cinema chain called Zero Space in China. And now we already have over 40 VR cinemas at shopping malls and tourism attractions in China. And besides our self-owned distribution channels, we also help creators to distribute and license their content to third-party buyers like telecom companies. And on the production side, we also have a VeeR Studio, which is our in-house content studio that's dedicated to producing cinematic VR works. And many of the works we've been produced have been selected by film festivals like Venice and Cannes XR. And we also provide an immersive film fund to creators all over the world to help incubate original VR works. Since today's the topic is about distribution and monetization, so I won't get into this immersive film fund too much. If you are interested in this, you can always go to our website, veer.tv, to find more information about it. So next, I am going to dive into details about cinematic VR content distribution. We have been distributing over 100 titles through our distribution network since since recent years. Next, I'm going to share some of our learnings and insights about VR content distribution. I'd like to divide the channels by 2 parts, the online distribution channel and the LBE distribution channel. Here on this slide, I have listed most of the major distribution channels for both online and LBE. I didn't list free channels here, so all the channels I listed here are the distribution channels with a established business model where creators can have a chance to monetize their work. And let's talk about the online part first. So for online part, the 3 of content distribution and the 6 of content distribution, the paradigm between them is quite different. For 3 of content, mainly are 360 videos and 180 videos. The major distribution channel is a VeeR video platform like us and also telecom companies. For VeeR video platform like us, usually we will have both a free content section and a paid content section. In the paid content section, users, the audience, they will pay per content to watch each title, and we will do a revenue share with our creators. And for telecom companies, usually they are currently telecom companies all over the world. They are acquiring VeeR videos to promote the adoption of 5G network. And usually the model with them is a flat fee acquisition. Some of them will do revenue share, but mostly the deal is a flat fee acquisition model. And since all of these telecom companies, they are very big companies, so we will suggest to find a professional distributor that help creators, help you to distribute to these big companies, because usually they're different telecom companies, they have different budget and they also have different tastes of VeeR content, and because they are big companies, so they're it usually will take a longer time to build a relationship with them, and also the process to make deal with them is more complex than work with VeeR video platforms like us. So in terms of telecom companies, we will recommend you find a professional distributors to help you with that. And if you want to distribute into China, we are very, very welcome to collaborate with us. And for 6 of content, the paradigm is quite different here, since there isn't an established distribution platform for 6 of content. So currently, all the 6 of content, they are usually launched as a standalone app in App Store, either launch on the Oculus Store or Steam, or through Oculus App Lab. And we all know that, I think we all know that Quest 2 is definitely a breakthrough since last year, and VeeR gaming is definitely taking off. So there are millions of active users on Quest now. So I think if we are considering distributing 6 of content online, Quest is a must-consider platform. If you only have a PC version, that means your the size of your potential audience will be quite limited. However, although Quest is a very promising platform, however, there are still some challenges we as cinematic VeeR content creators or non-gaming content creators, we need to be aware of. So there are some challenges on Quest for non-gaming content distribution. First, we all need to be aware of that the early adopters of VeeR headsets, they are hardcore gamers, not story seekers. According to the user research that Oculus they posted on their blog, which means if your content is more likely or more attractive to these gamers, it means you will have a better chance to be success on Oculus Quest platform. And secondly, is that VeeR narratives currently they still don't get as much exposure as VeeR games in Oculus Store. So if we are distributing, we are targeting at Quest users, it's not enough to just get the exposure in official Oculus store, we need to find other distribution, other channels to approach to Quest users. For example, like social media or some user community in Reddit or Discord. User community is usually a very effective channels, and also maybe some KOLs on YouTube. All these are additional channels we need to take into consider in order to approach to Oculus Quest users. And thirdly, Oculus Store, their policy for VR narrative is still quite vague. It's not very clear whether a piece of cinematic content can be launched as a standalone app on Oculus Store. But it's good that Oculus, they provide App Lab, another channel with lower entry barrier for creators to distribute their content. And for this, I believe Oculus will eventually solve all this problem eventually, but maybe it will take 1 or 2 more years for them to have a more clear strategy or policy for cinematic VR content. Next, I will introduce the distribution in location-based entertainment market. In LBE market, there are 2 types of channels for VR content distribution. One is VR Cinema and VR Experience Center that are dedicated to distributing VR content. The other type of locations are art museums or amusement park or other scenarios that they already have their established business model and established the user base that they want to introduce their experience to enhance their original experience or upsell their customers. And although LBE is severely affected by COVID-19 since last year, but we've seen that the market is already coming back now. And in our opinion, we actually think location-based entertainment is a big opportunity to bring VR to mass audience in the near term. I believe that eventually the online distribution channel will become a larger channel than LBE, but currently we need to understand that VR it's still at its early adopter stage, and although Quest is a significant success, it's still not yet penetrated to the mainstream users. And we find that many story seekers who are more likely to be the target audience for cinematic content, VR content, they haven't bought VR headset yet. However, at certain locations or certain scenarios, they are actually very willing to try VR experience. So our idea is to bring VR to where audience go to and where there is a scenario for them to consume VR content. And I think we need to be creative here because there are actually many different scenarios in offline that VR could be a good fit in, not only a cinema or theater. Actually, for example, like tourism attractions or aquariums and child and family centers, all these places, there are a scenario for consumers to enjoy the immersive content in these scenarios. The only problem is that actually many of the location owners, they are all looking for new things to enhance their experience. So they are very welcome to introduce VR experience into their location. The only problem is that it's quite cumbersome for them to introduce VR. They need to curate the content by themselves and set up the hardwares and also operate it. So, and on the creator side, for creators, I think the biggest challenge for LBE distribution is that usually it's much more fragmented than online distribution. There are so many different locations and different venues where our content might have a chance to go, but it's too hard for a creator to manage all these different channels. So we find there is demand on the location side, and we really want to make this really simple for creators to distribute to all these different LBE channels. That's why we made a zero space VR cinema Chen since 2019. The idea here, the main idea is we want to build a VR cinematic network to connect all these different type of locations. And creators, they only need to work with us, and we will deal with the rest of the work and to find the best location that matches their content. And we've been doing this for 2 years, and now we have over 40 VR cinemas in China and in different cities in China now. And we have built this end-to-end solution, including providing content and the hardware and also the software for the ticketing system and playback system to make this whole thing much easier for both the location owners and creators. As you can see, here are some pictures of our zero space VR cinema. We have a standard VR cinema, which is usually located in shopping malls. There are both 3DOF areas and 6DOF areas in this VR cinema. And we also have themed VR cinemas, which is usually located in different tourism attractions. And we will customize the look and feel of the space to match the to match the location. And we will promote content that's highly related to the theme of the place. Besides, we also build a very flexible solution, is this VR bus. This is very flexible and can be moved from one place to another very easily. And this is a very good solution for outdoor and pop-up exhibition. Here I'll show you some of the pictures of our LB VR cinema. This is our standard VR cinema. And this is some of our themed VR cinema, including there are ocean themed, space themed, and the traditional Chinese style. And with all the trials and errors we did since in last 2 years in the LBE distribution, we find the key to successful distribution is really to perfectly match the content, the channel, and the audience. And I like to share some of the results we get since last year. Among the 100 titles we distributed since last year, we already have 10 titles that hit over 1 million RMB revenue in zero space VR cinema. And within them, there are 2 titles that hit 3 million RMB. Although this is not a huge number, but I think it's already very meaningful for cinematic VR content distribution. And with this model, we can keep distributing premium content and generate revenues for our creators so they can keep invest to doing better works. To summarize, usually our distribution model for cinematic VR content will have this involve these 3 steps. So first, we will always submit to film festivals like Cannes XR, Venice, and also like VRE is a very good platform to showcase your work and where you can meet a lot of potential collaborators and distributors. And the second step is we will launch online and in LBE. So we will launch on our online VR video platform if it's a 3DOF content, and we will launch on App Store if it's a 6DOF content. And also we will, in the meantime, we will distribute through our zero space networks in LBE market. And after this first launch online and in LBE, and then we will sublicense our content to other third-party buyers like telecom companies. And lastly, I'd like to share some of the distribution strategy, some insights about distribution strategy that we've learned during last 2 years. I think it's very clear, it's very important to have a clear distribution strategy before our production. Distribution shouldn't be something we think about after we finish the production. It really needs to be, we really need to think through this before we start a project. And again, I want to emphasize that the key is to match the content, the channel, and the audience. So first, it's very important to have a clear target audience and the project position. I think doing some market research and audience research is always very helpful. And once you figure out who is your target audience, then try to find the channels that really matches your target audience and content. And also one tip I want to share is that always try to prepare enough marketing materials during the production, because sometimes after you finish the production, it might not be that easy to get more marketing materials. So it's better to prepare them during the production. And on the audience part, I like to share some of the learnings and some of the results of our user research. We find it's very different between online audience profile and LBE audience profile. So to have a better understanding of this different type of audience will always help us to shape a better distribution strategy. So for online audience, which are people who have already bought VR headsets like Oculus Quest or Vive at their home. Most of them are male. According to our user research, 90% of them are male, and most of them are gamers. They are usually very tech savvy and very familiar with VR controls. However, on the other side, for the LBE audience, they are very different. We find most of the LBE audience, they are new to VR. And also the gender balance here is more balanced. We find in our zero space VR cinema, about 55 of them are female audience, and only 45 are male audience. So this is very different from the online landscape. And also we find that there are two groups of people are more likely to convert. They are more likely to try VR for the first time. The first is generation Z, Y, and Z, usually people from 18 to 35 years old, and also children. Like we have some contents for children in our zero space VR cinema, and they are very attracted to those content. And one more thing to share about the audience, I think we really need to, when we think about audience research, we need to be very specific about their gender, their age group, and even their preference for the content. To take, for example, all these three works, they are selling very well in our zero space VR cinema, and they are all VR documents with spectacular visuals. However, when we look into the details of who are actually purchasing and consuming these different these VR documents, we find actually different titles. Their audience are quite different. So that's why I think it's really important to be specific to understand your audience. The more you know about your audience, the more likely you are going to, this will going to help you make some key decisions during the production. And the last thing I'd like to share is if we are going to make new projects, what are some of the genres we need to consider? So according to our user research, here are the top 5 genres that are mostly in demand. And also there's an interesting idea I'd like to share is that we find that we need more VR experiences that appeal to female audience. As I shared before, actually there are 55% of audience are female in our VR cinema. However, we find their choice for VR content are currently quite limited. So I think there is a huge opportunities here. And VeeR as a VR video platform, we're very willing to collaborate with creators to help you producing and distributing VR content. So thank you. These are all the insights and learnings I'm going to share today. If you'd like to know more about the details or look for collaboration with us, feel free to email me. Thank you.